councillor from Northfield, Councillor Brett O'Reilly.
Thank you for the invitation to come and speak today, and thank you for the introduction. It's whilst it's not directly within my portfolio at Birmingham City Council, education is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I'm a lecturer by profession, if you like, and I've recently left employment with a college, and also for a number of years now been a member of the Universities and College Union, and so I fully understand and see firsthand the cuts and the impact of government policy on education in this country. I thought that I'd just start off by setting the scene of some of the observations that I've made recently, and then move forward in where I think that education is going wrong under this government. In fact, it's probably easier to say where it's going right, it will take less time, but actually where it's going wrong. So first of all, talking about the Academy's agenda, the free schools agenda, and what essentially is marketisation of education in this country. We've seen a breaking up, we've seen an absurd position where some schools are having to make teachers redundant and yet other schools can't recruit teachers. What sort of absurd system is it that we're working in? Moving forward, because education is not just about schools, although schools are vitally important, we see prohibitive tuition fees for university, and even worse, a kick in the teeth for people who signed up to university in the last parliament, now seeing their fees go up retrospectively, so they now owe more than what they expected they would owe at the end of it, as if in excess of 50k in some cases wasn't enough. We see a teacher recruitment crisis with more leaving the profession than can actually be replaced. And the government talks a good game on education. They talk about raising up standards, but actually their actions betray their sinister motives. And I believe their biggest sinister motive is this, which is to transform education from a public good in which all of society has a stake into a commodity that can be bought and sold with profit as the key objective. Talks about driving up standards. Well, let me tell you this, you don't drive up standards by endorsing unqualified teachers in the classroom, by cutting spending per pupil per year, often with the most significant cuts falling on the poorest pupils, by saddling debts in excess of 50k around those pursuing higher education, or by introducing adult learning loans for those seeking to upskill or retrain in further education. And after all that, what's the latest kick in the teeth? Well, I can tell you, it's the notion that we bring back selective education in this country. You don't raise the standards and aspirations and life chances of the many by investing in segregation through selective education whilst cutting education budgets for the many. I think we can all agree here that the current direction of education policy by this government is simply not working, and rather than get bogged down on some of the intricacies of what goes on in the classroom, I would like to focus on the agenda of cuts and fees, because this is where I believe we can have a real impact if we stand united. So the government tell us that we need to save money, that austerity is the answer, and we all need to share the pain. Well, how is it that even if that was right, and let me tell you I don't believe that's right, or I wouldn't be standing here now, if that was right, then how is it that the IFS released a report just last year saying that schools in this parliament face up to a 12% real terms cut, that just last year some FE colleges saw cuts of up to 27% in their core funding, and that they're now talking about increasing tuition fees? How is all of that right if we're all in this together and it's all about austerity? That they were also able to overspend by in excess of £8 billion on Michael Gove's vanity project of academies and free schools in the previous parliament, and now they're talking about investing even more money in grammar schools and selective education whilst taking away from those that need it most. That doesn't sound like we're all in it together to me, and that's what we need to stand up for. finish on this note because from time to time politicians are accused of not actually saying what they really mean. While friends in this building, let me be absolutely clear about where I'm coming from. The only way that we raise aspiration and achievement for the many and not for the few, the only way that we will reduce inequalities and attainment gaps, and the only way that we place a ladder on the streets of every single family and child in every single place in this country is by properly funded, comprehensive, world-class education delivered by trained teachers, fully qualified, highly motivated, and in modern, fit-for-purpose schools, colleges and universities, where ultimately people are put before profit. Friends, let me put it as simple as this. Education is a public good and not a commodity. Let's take it back together. Thank you.